Hold on tight to the checkered flag with our huge selection of high-quality titanium fasteners. Quality you can see, strength you can test. We use heat-treated, certified aerospace billet material that's stronger than grade 8 steel, and all of our parts are American-made with American metal by racers for racers. From micro, midget, sprint, and IndyCar to top fuel, tractor pull, and more. Visit our website to configure a custom bolt kit for your car, and we'll ship it to you in labeled bags. Smith Titanium. We winnovate.
Honest Abe Roofing is America's favorite roofing company.
They took the time to discuss all of our needs.
I couldn't be happier with my new roof.
The best part? They came in under budget.
Honest Abe Roofing helped us with their easy payment solutions, and now we can make low payments on the roof that we actually wanted.
I guarantee you'll get the best price for your roof. That's what my ironclad lowest investment guarantee is all about.
It's ARP Fasteners for whatever you race. From 2 wheels to 4. Off-road, on-road, even water. From the flat track to the salt flats. Grassroots racers, weekend warriors, and pros alike trust ARP. Made in America quality, family owned and operated. When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com. No matter what you race.
At Pit Boss Jack's, we put in the work in the shop so you can put in your work at the track. Engineering, speed, durability. Pit Boss Jack's, like a boss.
This is a special presentation of DIRTVision, bringing you the pinnacle of dirt track racing. Led by Roll of Outlaws sprints and late models, we also have the Super Dirt Car Series, Extreme Outlaw Midgets, American Sprint Car Series, and Dirt Car Summer Nationals. Plus, weekly racing and special events at America's premier racetracks. The best drivers, the best coverage. DIRTVision is home to the greatest shows on dirt. The world calls it August, but sprint car fans call it Knoxville. The annual pilgrimage to the sprint car capital of the world is officially underway. The campgrounds are filling, the grandstands are coming alive, and another chapter of the Nationals week is ready to unfold. It all begins tonight with the extreme powered by Mediacom 360 Knoxville Nationals, where one driver will earn a trophy that will last a lifetime. Welcome to Knoxville, where August has a different name. The eyes of sprint car racing are turning to the Knoxville Raceway. What a beautiful sight it is. Now, before the 410 Stars chase history next week, competitors in the American Sprint Car Series get first crack at a track that can redefine a driver's career. A sport built on the foundation of Knoxville, a Nationals victory is more than just a win. It's a place in history. And take a look at that day they've got going on now at the county seat of Marion County, Iowa. You know, for 36 years, this has been one of the most coveted victories in ASCS competition, and we're sure glad you're along for the ride. Whether you're at the track or watching from the comforts of home, I'm Dave Reef. Welcome, everyone, inside the DIRTVision studio. Coming up tonight, we'll set the stage for the opening night of the 360 Nationals, hear from some of the favorites, break down just a few storylines with our on-track team back in Knoxville, and of course, get you ready for the first green flag of this three-day spectacle. Well, just like the 410s next week, the 360 Nationals format will test the best with a unique format as there are points on the line in every session on the Speedway. From an entry list of 113 cars, third most ever, the field is split between Thursday and Friday for preliminary competition. That begins with qualifying based off pill draw. The Quick Time Award winner earns 200 points, a 2-point decrease with each position that follows. Top 50 are locked into 5 heat races that begin with a 6-car invert. The winner grabs 100 points. This time, it's a 3-point fall off. Total points determine where each driver lines up for the A, B, or C features. The top 4 finishers in each of the C and B mains respectively move forward to the next race, win tonight's 20-lapper or tomorrow's 20-lapper. The scoring begins again at 200. Combine the 2 qualifying programs. Saturday's features lineups will be set directly by points. And in the event there is ties, the first tiebreaker will be determined by finishing position in the prelim feature. If it goes deeper than that, don't worry. We will, of course, let you know. You know, once upon a time, the 360 Knoxville Nationals was a springboard for moving up the ranks. It was proof you belonged, and many times it was the ticket to moving on to the 410 sprint cars. Well, these days, the event stands on its own merit, so much so that it attracts some of the sport's biggest stars, all chasing that same piece of Knoxville history. Among the 56 entries tonight are superstar drivers with Knoxville Raceway, ASCS, and USAC championships, numerous World of Outlaws and high-limit victories. Virtually everyone on this list has won a marquee race somewhere. And yes, there's even a NASCAR Cup champion. And if you still don't understand how and why this event has evolved and what it truly means, well, just ask James McFadden, Aaron Reitzel, and Giovanni Scelzi, the guys highlighted in yellow, former winners of the Knoxville 360 Nationals. Well, for those of you living under a rock, yeah, Kyle Larson is that Cup champion, but he isn't the only NASCAR driver given the go-ahead by his full-time employer. Ironically enough, the same Rick Hendricks that allows Kyle Larson to do it. Well, these days, Corey Day, though, is making headlines on the NASCAR developmental ladder, building an asphalt reputation. But sprint car fans don't need an introduction. We've already known he's one of the motorsport's brightest young stars. Well, yes, his NASCAR future is bright, but his Knoxville resume is pretty sporty, too. A pair of wins in successive years against the greatest show on dirt and a podium finish at the Knoxville Nationals back in 2024 behind Kyle Larson and Giovanni Scelzi. Those are references on that NASCAR application that helped him get to the stock car level. With the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series racing just up the road in Newton this weekend, the timing could work out perfectly for Day to return to the sprint car capital Saturday night in time, provided his qualifying night earns him enough points. Hopefully it all turns into a win-win for a driver who is a threat to pull it off.
Yeah, last time I did it was my first year like in the Midwest in general, so I've come a long way since then. But I really haven't ran any 360 races since obviously this past weekend we ran local show and then Trophy Cup in 2024. So I don't know. I mean, I think you still have to have a good car. Competition's still stiff. You still have to do a lot of things right to win it. It's not just easy because it's 360 Nationals. So, you know, overall, you definitely run your car a lot different setup-wise from car to car. Just with the motor being heavier in the 360, it changes the balance of things a lot. So getting your car good is tough. Being, you know, just a 410 guy mainly, and then you're able to run the bottom a lot harder in a 360 here. You have less wheel spin, so there's more options for lines with sliding across and turning down. I feel like it's easier to do those things if you have a good car. But at the same time, it is harder to pass because you have less power. So mistakes compound faster. And yeah, I'll definitely have to switch my mindset a little bit because I'm the type to go pound it the whole race. And we'll have to get our car better, like I said, but I think you should be okay. More than anything for me, it's about the laps around here. I have lacked in that category this year compared to a lot of these guys. So the 360 Nationals will be, for our car and our team will be more of just the 360 Nationals. But for me, it'll be preparing for the rest of the week for sure.
He'll be certainly one to watch for sure. Another guy, Aaron Reitzel. His credentials are as strong as anyone in the field tonight. He's an ASCS national champion, a 3-time All-Star Circuit of Champion title winner, and the 2022 Knoxville 360 Nationals champion. Well, with 410 wins on the north side of the century mark with more than 150 total sprint car wins in his career, it's easy to understand why he's a favorite every time the gate opens. He might have started second 4 years ago, but leading every lap of the 32nd 360 Nationals, Aaron Reitzel not only won, he took his earnings to the max. Jumping around the point leader Linton Jeffrey in the first and second corners, Aaron was able to run away in high. Total up all the laps led. The cash, first place prize, it totaled $30,000 for the Clute, Texas racer. Well, this year, Reitzel isn't just having a good year, he's having one of the best seasons of anyone. Since joining Ridge & Sons Racing, the 87 has been a weekly threat. Winning 6 races in an 8-race stretch, he cashed in nearly $200,000 before summer even hit. A high limit winner, he also dominated against the World of Outlaws in Knoxville already this year. So it's easy to see that Aaron Reitzel isn't just one of the men to beat, he might just be the man to beat.
I've always just looked at this as the 360 Nationals, same as next week it's the 410 Nationals. I don't think it's Saints or Body. I know they're part of it, but I think it's really all about Knoxville. And yeah, when I roll into it, I just look at it as, like I said, the Knoxville Nationals, and that's just kind of how I think it's always been. I didn't get to run Nationals last year, being hurt. And, we qualified last week and qualified well, so I, got some key point notes that you got to make sure to be a little different on. So, hopefully the changes that we're doing to our 410 now adapt well to the 360. You definitely got to worry more about making speed now. I think if it's going to be wet, it's going to be easy for everyone. So it's about speed now, not, I like when it gets technical and you have to make sure and hit your marks. But it's going to make those heat races hard, and I think that's really the biggest part of the Nationals. Yeah, I think you just lay down those 2 laps and get through your heat. I feel really good about our chances.
And he should. From the local scene, Cade Higday isn't just a Knoxville regular. He's one of the drivers that is turning weekly laps into weekly results. So now, as the biggest week of 360 sprint car racing arrives, Higday hopes his experience around all 4 corners can be as valuable as outright speed. Now, while most of the headlines belong to the NASCAR stars and former champions, one of Knoxville's own has been building his brand, not just with the race car, but also behind the microphone as co-host of the Knoxville Nights podcast. Now, backing up a strong 2025 behind the wheel, Cade opened 2026 by winning the 360 opener. And while it stands as his only win so far this year, he has continued to pile up top 5s and top 10s, keeping himself firmly in the position of 360 points leader. Don't scream dominance. Nope, those numbers don't do that, but they do tell a story of reliability. Now, typically Knoxville's a track that rewards familiarity. And few in the field know it better than the driver of the 24H. More than just a podcast host, Cade Higday is quietly becoming a driver capable of shaking up the 360 Knoxville Nationals.
Compared to last year, it's a total 180. I feel like last year, every night we struggled really bad and just couldn't put a couple consecutive nights together. And this year, it's almost like we can't mess it up. So, it's been really fun and obviously a lot of confidence going into the Nationals. And, we got a bunch of rain last night. We didn't draw the best number, but I feel like it might play into our favor with the racetrack tonight. So, honestly, I feel like it's going to stay a little wetter throughout the night. The humidity is pretty high tonight. So, we could get 2 polar different racetracks. We'll just kind of have to wait and see. It's fun to race good competition, and obviously it always makes you better. I hear a lot of people say that they wish 360 Nationals didn't have all the big dogs, but I love it because it makes me better as a race car driver, and it gets me kind of in the mix with some better competition for sure. Hopefully we can lock ourselves into the first, I'd say 3 or 4 rows would be pretty great. Obviously that sets us up good for Saturday, and I feel like with this caliber of race cars, if you're starting 5th row or further back, it's going to be really tough, but nothing's impossible, and obviously just try to get through the night and set ourselves up good for Saturday.
It is time for a quick break on the 360 Knoxville Nationals pre-race show, but stay with us. When we come back, Randy Ward and Blake Walker join us with more storylines from the booth, while Brian Ward's on the ground with the latest from the pit area. More from Knoxville after this.
Unveiled at PRI, 5-Star introduced an all-new sprint car body engineered using advanced CFD aero analysis, validated through on-track testing using real-time airflow data.
There's no reason why anybody will want to run anything else than this 5-Star sprint car body.
Designed to fit Maxim, XXX, Schnee Lawson, JR1, J&J, DRC, Spike, and more. 5-Star's all-new sprint car body. The new standard in sprint car technology.
Racing is tough. It's not a sport for the weak, and the winning desire has to flow through your veins. Established in 1993 and only stocked in top-rated manufacturers is why BR Motorsports is your one-stop shop when it comes to your sprint car and midget needs. Call us today at 1-800-328-3333 and talk to racers to get the right parts you need when you need them. BR Motorsports, the leaders in sprint car parts technology.
Want more wins? Here's some tips. Brake late with our powerful titanium piston brake kits featuring our VRT Max rotor and all titanium hardware. Stay on track with the lightest, strongest, and safest rear torsion arm ever made in our exclusive AccuLength W-Link. Hold it all together with our huge selection of high-strength precision titanium fasteners boxed up custom for your car in part-labeled bags. Make the decision for precision. Smith Titanium. We winnovate.
They'll tell you who you are.
What you can't do.
Where you don't belong.
But with the right people at your side, you write your own story.
You don't wait for success, you chase it. Sharper, tougher, faster, with every lap.
And when you give everything you've got, you don't just win. You inspire what comes next.
Stay up to date on the greatest shows on dirt with text messages from DIRTVision. Visit alerts.dirtvision.com to sign up. Get the latest info on your favorite National Racing Series broadcasts, plus those from our premier weekly tracks. Sign up now at alerts.dirtvision.com. As a young kid cutting his teeth back in the 1990s, there is no better place to be on a beautiful August night than at the sprint car capital of the world. As you see, we've got a great night coming your way, and with those suites across the top, my goodness, Knoxville Raceway has certainly come a long way, as has the 360 Knoxville Nationals. Welcome back inside of the booth as we continue marching toward the first green flag of the 360 Knoxville Nationals. As we continue our pre-race now, joined by everybody that's going to be a part of the show. Well, almost everybody, because Tony Bachhoven is going to join us for our post-race show. But let's go ahead and get with the guys that are going to be joining us right now. And all the way over on the right-hand side,
the voice of the ASCS National Tour. That is Randy Ward. Next to him, one of the great young talent announcers that is coming along. That's Blake Walker. And of course, the man in the middle. I love pit reporters because those are some of the hardest working guys in the business. It's Brian Ward. Gentlemen, welcome first and foremost. Let's start with the fact that this race does turn 36 this year. And Randy, I posed this question to you. From back in the day when it was a 2-day event, this thing is really grown. How has the prestige of this event kind of escalated in your mind?
Well, it's just grown so much that drivers from across the country want to come here. It's not just regional drivers trying to come and race at Knoxville. This is cars coast to coast want to be here. It's drivers that race for big money all the time now come here because there's a lot of money on the line. And Blake, they want to be at Knoxville. That is the sprint car capital of the world.
Yeah, absolutely. And any laps are good laps before we get ready for the 410 Nationals, because almost everybody that's racing here tonight or tomorrow night, we're going to see them next week. But I think you talked about it. The prestige is there. The money's there. People want to win this race and say they've won the Knoxville Nationals, whether that's 360 or 410. That's exactly why you see this count going up.
Yeah, there's plenty that use it as a test, but it stands on its own feet. And I think you said that earlier, Dave. This race has just grown to something that is prestigious in the sport of sprint car racing.
You add in the fact we've got the Capitani coming up on DIRTVision Sunday night. You've also got the start of sprint car racing over in Oskaloosa with Terry McCarroll's Front Row Challenge. I mean, there's no better time to be in the state of Iowa with so much going on. Brian Ward, I want to get your perspective because, you know, I mentioned it earlier, a lot of times this was maybe just a springboard for somebody that nobody really knew much about. Now it's these guys are coming down because, yeah, they want the practice for the 410 Nationals, but a 360 Knoxville Nationals win is almost going to be as big as that 410 win. I mean, just look at our car count. It may actually exceed what we see next week for the 410s.
And it's odd seeing that contrast because we travel around with the 360s across the country, and it seems like there's so many more 410s out there, but you come here, and like you just said, we might have more 360s in Knoxville this week than we'll see 410s next week. So it's an event that has drawn those big names, and I think it's got a lot more of that prestigious title to it now, where it used to just be, like you said, the little springboard, oh, you got the 360s, that's not the 410s. But I think it's getting close to meaning just as much to get a Nationals victory here in Knoxville, even if it is a 360 under the hood.
You know, earlier we were talking to Kate Higday. Kate was talking about what this racetrack might look like tonight, Blake. And you're the guy that covers the thing week in, week out. And you've seen his steady progression. You do the Knoxville podcast with him. How impressed are you with Kate Higday? And what kind of legitimate threat do you feel like he's going to be tonight as we get ready to go with qualifying night number 1?
I'd say he's a pretty reasonable threat. 2 years ago, he made the show. He was top 5 in highest points after his prelim night, and that was with a car that, you know, he was still kind of part-time at a 360. He was running a 305 at the time as well, and then last year it was not a good year. Obviously struggled a little bit, didn't get to victory lane until the very last week, but this year there's a newfound confidence in him, and I see it every single week when I'm on the show with him, and he just seems confident. His dad was just put into the Knoxville Hall of Fame, which meant a lot to him and his family, and, you know, he's thinking about points, but he told us on our show on Sunday, he's like, I don't have to think about points coming to this week, and I think it honestly works in his favor.
You know, Randy, it was only about a year and a half ago as we turned the focus back over to the American Sprint Car Series that we were talking about Seth Bergman becoming a champion of the series, being the driver of the year for the 360s. But you start to look and dig into the notes like you guys do, like we do back here in the studio. You know, Knoxville's not the best place for that Washington racer. So what's it going to take for Seth Bergman to have a good night tonight?
I think he just needs a good mindset coming in. Half-mile racetracks have typically not been his forte to win or run a top 3. He didn't podium with us at Volusia. He didn't podium with us at Belleville. Those are other big racetracks that we've been on this season. But he does have a good race car this year. 3 wins already on the season for that number 23. Those coming in Benton, Missouri, Texarkana, Arkansas, and Wichita, Kansas. So he's got a good race car. He just needs to get his mind right that he can do it here. He has a good run here. You got to step back a few years, back 2018. I think he had a good run coming up here to Knoxville. So if he can just get the mind right, that's what our 2024 championship driver needs to do here tonight.
You know, I live over in Omaha throughout the week, and of course, what I get for weather, you guys typically get in Knoxville about 18 hours later, and I know we had a goalie washer a couple of nights ago that certainly spread over there. Cade Higday kind of tipped his hand a little bit about what he expects this track to be tonight. And Randy, that's my next question for you. Where do you think drivers are going to find speed around the big half mile tonight?
Well, it's really going to depend on where it gets worked in the most. This racetrack was so wet this morning that it was kind of a question mark. What's going to happen this afternoon? There has been track implement equipment on this racetrack the entire day, just trying to get it worked in enough to not get stuck. I mean, if you drive a golf cart or something down in a spot that didn't get worked today, you're going to have a hard time moving. So the track crews had their hands full trying to get it into shape where we can race tonight. Now it's up to the drivers to get their car set up to take advantage of it. Yeah.
So, Brian, let's talk about crew chiefs. Let's talk about drivers, the combination that they got to have tonight, the synergy they got to have. What do you think the biggest setup challenge is going to be tonight based on what we just heard Randy say?
I mean, obviously, you've got to be able to plant the power down early in the night when the track's a little heavier. Those qualifying laps mean so much to getting your night kicked off well. So if you can have it figured out early, so the ones that have all the notes, that have the most laps here, that really have those cars figured out, they're going to have the advantage. One thing that Corey Day brought up earlier when I was talking to him, he talked about the weight difference in the 360 engines versus the 410s. The 360s have a little bit more weight to them, a little heavier there. And so he said that really throws a balance off on these race cars. So the drivers that always have a 360 in, maybe they've got a better feel for the race car and can be a little bit smoother and maybe take that extra tenth off on those qualifying laps where someone who's not as familiar might struggle and it might put them back a tenth or two. So that's going to be really the key right there. Who can have the best balance there in those early laps?
You know, another indicator of just how far this race has come is the fact that you got to go all the way back to Shane Stewart, way back in the early 20-teens when he ran off 4 in a row. We've had no repeat winners since then. We've got guys in the field tonight. We talked about Aaron Reitzel. It's Giovanni Scelzi, James McFadden. Those are defending champs. If not those guys, Randy and Blake, let's start with you guys. Make a case for somebody else that you think is primed and in good position tonight to add their name to continue that trend of no repeat winners for a long, long time.
Let you go first, Blake.
I think Austin McCarl. He won his prelim night last year, held off Kyle Larson to do it, and he's only got 2 wins this year. And for Austin McCarl's sake, that's not a lot. And he's a 4-time 360 winner here at the Knoxville Raceway. Hasn't put a 360 between the frame rails a ton this year, but boy, when he has, he's been so competitive. He didn't even need to run the Lazowski Tribute Night in a 360 because I think he feels that confident about his equipment. His pill draw is not great. He's going to have to come out strong in qualifying, but he's done that all season long. I really think Austin McCarl could put his name right along with his dad as a 360 Nationals champion. And this year, why not any better time now than the present?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great pick. I mean, he's got that deep draw in the qualifying that he's going to have to kind of climb out of, but it may work out in his favor. A driver that's picked up momentum here recently, Tanner Holmes, has been running very well. Can he get that balance right that Brian was talking about, the 360? If his team can figure that out for him quick, he's drawn a pretty decent number to get a chance to set a good qualifying lap, and maybe he puts himself in position tonight.
And we'll obviously give Brian your last call on this one. I mean, I'll throw a couple more names out before I hear yours, and I apologize if I trump a couple, but you've got the USAC midget champ, the 4-crown sweeper, Jason Pursley in the field. You've also got Justin Henderson in the field. You got the guy that's won the most 410 features in the field tonight, Chase Dietz, who comes out of Pennsylvania. Yeah, sometimes it's tough for the Keystone State guys to get out of Pennsylvania and win, but who else do you have kind of circled, Brian?
I'm just going to go to the experience side here and some of the drivers that have dedicated some time to focusing on the racetrack here at Knoxville. And they've seen a variety of racing surfaces and they know how to adjust on the race car. So I'm going to try and take a long shot here with some drivers that might not be in those top picks and go with maybe a Higday or even a Chase Randall who's dedicated some time to make some laps here. So some of those guys that have focused on this racetrack regularly, try and get some experience, see if that pays off for them this weekend.
So we'll have to see how all of that plays out, guys. I know you're going to have Wade Onger down there to compete with, and eventually you guys, Randy and Blake, you're going to have Tony up with you. We've got an all-star cast. Are you guys ready for this? Because I really feel like this is set up to be not just a special night tonight, but a special 3 days here at this year's 360 Knoxville Nationals.
Yeah, it really is going to be a fun week. We're in Knoxville.
Yeah, and I agree. I think obviously the car count being the third highest, that's definitely one thing that a lot of people have been very excited about for the most part. And this something just feels different this year, Dave. I don't know what it is, but boy, it feels like we're going to have another one. 36th annual 360 Knoxville Nationals.
And how can you not have a good time down in the infield? We got Wayne Onger. His joy is infectious down here. His smile, his laughter. It's going to be fun hanging out with the Aussie down here in the infield.
Well, the time is almost here, so we'll say goodbye to you for now. You obviously will be back on the backside of this commercial break, but thank you for joining me for pre-race. We'll see some of you, Tony Bachhoven, back later for some post-race coverage. It's going to be a fun night. Thanks for all the hard work that you guys do, Blake, at the track, and of course, Ryan and Brandy for all the things that you do on the ASCS National Tour. Well, with that being said, the moment is upon us. It is time for the Extreme Powered by Mediacom 360 Knoxville Nationals night number 1, as qualifying is just around the corner. Cars are beginning to stage for hot laps, and when we come back from this commercial break, Tony Bachhoven and the rest of the gang will pick up the action as we get you back out to the sprint car capital of the world, the Knoxville Raceway, home of the 360 Knoxville Nationals. Have a great night, everyone.
Trackwear, streetwear, workwear. No matter where you are, be race ready. Clothing brand built for fans, drivers, and crews.
Unveiled at PRI, 5-Star introduced an all-new sprint car body engineered using advanced CFD aero analysis, validated through on-track testing using real-time airflow data.
There's no reason why anybody will want to run anything else than this 5-star sprint car body.
Designed to fit Maxim, XXX, Schnee Lawson, JR1, J&J, DRC, Spike, and more. 5-Star's all-new sprint car body. The new standard in sprint car technology.
It's ARP fasteners for whatever you race. From 2 wheels to 4. Off-road, on-road, even water. From the flat track to the salt flats. Grassroots racers, weekend warriors, and pros alike trust ARP. Made in America quality, family owned and operated. When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com. No matter what you race.
Honest Abe Roofing is America's favorite roofing company.
They took the time to discuss all of our needs.
I couldn't be happier with my new roof.
The best part? They came in under budget.
Honest Abe Roofing helped us with their easy payment solutions, and now we can make low payments on the roof that we actually wanted.
I guarantee you'll get the best price for your roof. That's what my ironclad lowest investment guarantee is all about.
Inside a machine that's built to win, it's chaos, unless it's protected. Every component is pushed to the limit. Lap after lap, these engines take a beating. And when performance is everything, there's no room for compromise. From race day to work day, Wix filters are trusted where failure isn't an option. Wix filters, engineered for experts.
This copyrighted DIRTVision broadcast may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or distributed in any form without World Racing Group's written consent. Copyright infringement is a federal crime.
Engine heat taking place right now down in the infield here at the Knoxville Raceway, getting very close to hot laps here tonight for night one of the Extreme, powered by Mediacom 360 Knoxville Nationals, presented by Great American Bank. And a field of over 50 race cars in there trying to get their engine heat right now. And Blake, we're seeing those cars drive by. It just gets exciting watching these cars come through because it's real. We're seeing who's in the field tonight, and there's some really strong race cars.
Yeah, there are. Obviously, 53 cars this evening here at the Knoxville Raceway. We'll run the rest tomorrow, and it really sets itself up for points. Points are the big deal tonight. Obviously, qualifying is a big deal as well. 200 points to that QuickTime qualifier like Dave Reef talked at the top of the show. And I always look for the people that are here in the grandstands that don't know, the drivers that are near turn 4, Randy, those are the guys that on the front stretch, they got the highest pill draw. So those are usually your highest. Then you kind of work your way down. You see Tanner Holmes is here on the far end over here in turn 2. He's about middle of the pack pill draw. Then they go to the back stretch and all the way in the far left-hand corner closest to turn 3. That's usually the back half of the pill draw and who's going last. And there is no split in qualifying. So it is literally just all the way through. You get what you get. And I guess you don't throw a fit in a way, as my parents would always say. But, boy, qualifying is so important. And, I mean, they always say it, Randy, the most important 2 laps of the season.
It is, because it's going to set the mark for where you're going to be on Saturday.
Yep.
And Saturday's when they pay out the big money. Yes, you've got a heat race and a feature tonight for more points, but the qualifying pays out so many points and sets your starting spot in those heat races that you really need to get your best 2 laps of the year when it comes time for that.
Well, and we know, all the rain that we got yesterday here in the Knoxville area. Heat races, you don't know what kind of track you're going to get, but you assume it's going to be wet. You assume it's going to be pretty fast. Passing might be at a premium, and with that, the invert's going to be 6. You got to get moving in the heat race, and obviously restarts are going to be so crucial. I think we'll see a lot of aggressiveness here early on these restarts and whatnot, but these heat races are going to mean so much, especially if you qualify well, because 200 points is great. But if you don't move anywhere in your heat race, you're also not setting yourself up too well for the feature.
That's right. You're going